him about the freak off, Diddy Jr. Diddy Jr., tell him about the freak off. He calling the police, y'all. He calling, no, I don't give a over what, because he want hoes over the house while his kids is here. While you like to have hoes and weed, alcohol, mushrooms.
Neyo said it's gotten super misogynistic, which I don't understand. And mind you, I can only blame us men halfway for that, because as a woman, if a man sings the word to you and you smile at him, he's probably going to do it again and again and again and again.
Neyo's darkest secret is way worse than we could have imagined, and it came into public view when his baby mama went live from his bedroom.
Diddy Jr., tell him about the freak off. Tell them about the freak off. Tell them the truth.
The shocking footage revealed a side of the R&B crooner that his fans never knew existed.
This is what's going on. This is the tea. While the is in the house, I asked him not to bring no in the house. I even came over here to help him with these kids because he won't watch these kids.
What unfolded next would expose a pattern of deception that stretched back years and involved everything from violence to federal crimes. So let's get into it. April 24th, 2024. Shade Bagneris set up her phone in Neyo's bedroom and pressed record. Her two young sons with the R&B singer were sleeping somewhere in the house. What happened next would change everything. The live stream started with Bagneris calling Neyo Diddy Jr. and demanding he tell the world about his freak-offs.
Diddy Jr., tell him about the freak off. Tell him about the freak off. Tell them the truth.
She wasn't making random accusations. She was drawing a direct line between Neyo's alleged behavior and the disgraced hip-hop mogul who was facing federal charges for similar activities. Neyo sat calmly in the background, barely looking up from his phone.
This is what's going on. This is the tea. While the is in the house, I asked him not to bring no in the house.
His measured response made the scene even more unsettling. Here was a woman making explosive allegations about violence and child endangerment, and he acted like she was discussing the weather. Bagneris accused him of body slamming her to the floor. She didn't specify when this alleged assault happened, but her raw emotion suggested the pain was fresh. The accusation hung in the air while Neyo continued scrolling through his device, seemingly unbothered by the gravity of what was being said. The allegations came next. Bagneris claimed Neyo regularly had women, weed, alcohol, mushrooms, and prostitutes in the house while their young children were present.
Over what? Because he want over the house while his kids is here. While you like to have hoes and weed, alcohol, mushrooms.
She painted a picture of a household where adult party activities happened regardless of who else was around. Throughout the confrontation, Neyo's main concern seemed to be getting Bagneris to leave his property. He mentioned calling the police to have her removed for causing a disturbance.
With you, that's why I'm staying far away from you. The police. Shut your up.
His priority wasn't addressing her accusations or protecting his children from witnessing this toxic exchange. The live stream captured something raw and unfiltered. There were no publicists managing the message, no lawyers crafting careful statements. This was two parents in crisis, broadcasting their dysfunction to thousands of viewers while their children slept nearby. Bagneris's decision to go live wasn't spontaneous. This was a woman who felt unheard and powerless, using the only weapon she had left: public exposure. She was gambling with her own reputation to force Neyo into accountability. The timing couldn't have been worse for Neyo. Sean Combs was already facing federal charges related to freak-offs and TF-ficking allegations.
How we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. VMAs, you can't feel bad.
Any comparison to those crimes, even from an angry ex, carried serious implications for Neyo's career and legal standing. The livestream went on for nearly an hour, with Bagneris repeating her accusations and Neyo remaining largely silent. Thousands of viewers watched in real time as their relationship imploded on camera. The raw footage would be screenshotted, shared, and dissected across social media platforms within hours. By the time Bagneres ended the stream, the damage was done. The allegations were out there, recorded forever on the internet. Neyo's reputation, built over 2 decades in the music industry, had been severely damaged in a single night by the mother of his own children. The next day brought a public apology from Bagneres that raised more questions than it answered. She blamed her outburst on the full moon, her menstrual cycle, postpartum stress, and underlying relationship issues. The explanation sounded like someone walking back serious allegations under pressure. But this wasn't the first time their relationship had exploded into public view. Court documents revealed a custody battle where Neyo had initially questioned whether he was the father of one of Bagneres' sons.
All right, Neyo serves ex-girlfriend papers demanding paternity tests. Neyo has a very eventful love life. We do see that. He finalized his divorce from Crystal Renee back in February, and now he's demanding a paternity test for his 2 alleged kids, Brayden and Brixton.
DNA tests eventually confirmed his paternity of both children, but the damage was done. Bagneres had been speaking out about Neyo's alleged problems for months before the live stream. In June 2023, she posted on social media about his alleged addiction and how everyone in his life, including his mother and ex-wife Crystal, no longer recognized the person he had become. She described a man who had transformed from someone gentle and loving into someone his own family couldn't identify. The change wasn't gradual. It was dramatic enough that multiple people in his inner circle were commenting on his altered behavior and personality. The pattern extended beyond just one relationship. Neyo's divorce from Crystal Renee in 2023 had been messy and public.
Well, there are a lot of things, obviously, I don't have to go into detail, that were happening behind my back that I was unaware of. And a lot of times when you're in a certain lifestyle, that can be a selling point for a person to keep you.
Multiple women were coming forward with stories about his behavior that painted a consistent picture of someone whose private conduct didn't match his public image. His approach to co-parenting seemed focused on control rather than collaboration. The paternity questioning, the custody battles, and the public disputes suggested someone who used the legal system as a weapon rather than seeking genuine resolution. The transformation Bagneres described wasn't just about personal behavior. It affected his business relationships too. Associates and collaborators were reportedly distancing themselves from Neyo as his reputation became increasingly toxic. Friends and family members were allegedly expressing concern about the people Neyo surrounded himself with. These enablers were reportedly encouraging his destructive behavior rather than trying to help him course correct. The cycle seemed to be accelerating. Each incident led to more extreme behavior, more public exposure, and more damaged relationships. Neyo wasn't learning from his mistakes, he was doubling down on them. March 2025 brought Neyo's most shocking revelation yet. He posted a video on Instagram introducing his 4 girlfriends, calling them his pyramid. What he presented as transparency was actually the unveiling of a deeply troubling arrangement.
Neyo is giving us everything about his polyamorous relationship. Weeks after sharing a peek inside his life with multiple girlfriends, the singer is introducing his 4 partners, Christina, Ariel, Monet, and Brie, to the masses.
3 of the women maintained a joint Instagram account where they referred to each other as wives and posted photos of their shared life with Neyo. They traveled together, partied together, and presented a united front that looked more like a business arrangement than genuine relationships. Neyo revealed that all 5 of them shared an Alaskan king bed, essentially 2 California king mattresses pushed together. The sleeping arrangement was presented as logistical necessity, but it highlighted the commodified nature of his relationships. The rules of his pyramid were one-sided. The women were expected to be exclusive to him while he remained free to pursue other relationships. They had asked for exclusivity with him, but understood that this commitment didn't flow both ways. His 7 children from various relationships were expected to navigate this complex adult arrangement. Neyo claimed he was honest with his kids about his lifestyle, introducing each girlfriend as daddy's girlfriend, without apparent concern for the psychological impact. The women were also expected to help with childcare duties when Neyo traveled for work. They served as unpaid domestic help, managing his household and children while he pursued his career. The arrangement benefited Neyo while placing emotional and physical labor on his partners. Brianna Williams, his backup dancer, represented the newest addition to the pyramid. Her professional relationship with Neyo had evolved into a personal one, blurring the lines between work and romance in potentially exploitative ways.
I have an Alaskan king. You know,
Alaskan king is
that's like 2 California.
That sounds
like 2 California kings next to each other.
What the?
You gotta get that. You gotta get that met.
Behind the relationship drama, Neyo was dealing with a federal investigation that had been quietly building since 2022. The Securities and Exchange Commission had been tracking his involvement in cryptocurrency promotion schemes that violated investor protection laws. The investigation centered on Neyo's promotion of crypto assets, TRX and BTT, on his social media accounts. He had accepted $12,000 in digital currency to promote these investments to his millions of followers without disclosing the paid nature of his posts. Federal agents had been monitoring social media accounts, tracking financial transactions, and building a case against multiple celebrities who were participating in these undisclosed promotional schemes. Neyo was just one target in a larger investigation.
Tell him about the freak off, Diddy Jr. Diddy Jr., tell him about the freak off. He calling the police, y'all. He calling, no, I don't give a...
In March 2023, the SEC filed formal charges against Neyo for violating federal securities laws. The charges carried potential criminal penalties, including fines and imprisonment, if he chose to fight them in court. Rather than contest the charges, Neyo agreed to a settlement that required him to pay $48,804 in disgorgement, interest, and penalties. The settlement also included an agreement to stop promoting securities without proper disclosure. The federal case was part of a broader crackdown on celebrity crypto promotion that also targeted Lindsay Lohan, Jake Paul, and other high-profile figures. Neyo found himself grouped with celebrities who were willing to exploit their fan bases for quick money.
Every cycle, we see more and more celebrities get drawn in, and the problem is they're coming in for a cash grab. They have someone reach out and say, listen, I can get you a couple $100,000, $500,000. Some of these celebrities, you would be shocked to see how little money they are taking to basically pump and dump on their fan.
Court documents showed that investigators had been tracking the flow of cryptocurrency payments from promoters to celebrities, building detailed records of who was paid what and when. The digital nature of these transactions made them easy to trace once investigators knew where to look. The settlement kept Neyo out of prison, but damaged his credibility permanently. Anyone considering business deals with him would know he had a documented history of failing to disclose material information about his promotional activities. The crypto entrepreneur Justin Sun, who created the TRX and BTT tokens Neyo promoted, was facing separate federal charges for orchestrating the entire scheme.
You don't really have to understand crypto to see how this works. You just need to understand people like Justin Sun, okay? Here's just one example. Justin Sun's a Chinese-born crypto billionaire whose company has been a popular way to move money for crypto's criminal underbelly.
Neyo's involvement made him complicit in Sun's alleged securities fraud. SEC enforcement files revealed that Neyo's team had been warned about disclosure requirements before he made the promotional posts. His decision to proceed anyway showed deliberate disregard for federal securities laws. The investigation had been ongoing for over a year before charges were filed. Federal agents had been building cases against multiple celebrities simultaneously, creating a coordinated enforcement action that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Neyo's legal team had advised him to settle quickly rather than face the possibility of criminal prosecution. The settlement amount, while substantial, was less than what he could have faced in criminal penalties if convicted. The case established a precedent that celebrities could face serious consequences for undisclosed promotional activities on social media. Neyo's settlement became a warning to other entertainers about the risks of paid endorsements. Neyo's legal troubles didn't start with cryptocurrency fraud. Court records going back to 2008 revealed a pattern of reckless behavior and disregard for laws that had been building for over a decade. February 2008 marked his first major legal incident when Georgia police arrested him for reckless driving. Officers clocked him traveling 150 miles per hour without a valid driver's license on a public highway during daylight hours. The arrest report described a routine traffic stop that revealed Neyo's complete disregard for traffic safety. He wasn't fleeing a crime scene or dealing with an emergency. He was simply driving at dangerous speeds because he felt like it.
That sounds pretty embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie at all. YouTube kills you too. Anyone get that on YouTube?
No, by the grace of God, nobody got it.
His legal team negotiated a plea deal that resulted in only 24 hours of community service despite the severity of the charges. The light sentence may have reinforced his belief that celebrity status provided protection from serious consequences. A year earlier, his former manager David Wallace had filed a lawsuit claiming breach of contract when Neyo relocated to Los Angeles. The case dragged through the courts for years, with Wallace claiming Neyo had abandoned their agreement when it became inconvenient. The contract dispute revealed Neyo's pattern of making agreements and then finding ways to escape them when they no longer served his interests. Wallace died in 2012 with his appeal still pending, leaving questions about Neyo's business ethics unresolved. In 2011, Lindsay Lohan sued Neyo and his collaborators over their song Give Me Everything, claiming they had used her name without permission. While Neyo ultimately prevailed in court, the case showed how his work could generate controversy and legal complications. Each legal incident seemed to escalate in terms of potential consequences. The 2008 reckless driving endangered public safety. The 2007 contract dispute affected business partners, and the 2023 SEC case potentially harmed fans who trusted his recommendations. The pattern suggested someone who learned to navigate the legal system rather than learning to follow the rules. Each settlement or light sentence seemed to embolden him to push boundaries further the next time. Court records from these various cases revealed a consistent approach from Neyo's legal team. Settle quickly, admit no wrongdoing, and move on. This strategy kept him out of serious legal trouble, but did nothing to address the underlying behavioral issues. The Georgia reckless driving case was particularly revealing because it showed Neyo's attitude toward rules that applied to everyone else. Traffic laws existed for public safety, but he apparently believed his celebrity status exempted him from such concerns. The David Wallace contract dispute lasted so long that it consumed years of legal resources and personal energy. Wallace's legal team had been pursuing the case aggressively until his death ended the litigation unexpectedly.
But why did you go independent?
Honestly, for the freedom of it.
Industry observers noted that Neyo's legal troubles seemed to correspond with periods of career success. Each time he achieved new levels of fame and wealth, he seemed to push boundaries further, testing how much his status could protect him. The accumulation of legal settlements and judgments created a paper trail that would later become relevant when investigators were building cases against him. Each incident added to a pattern of behavior that prosecutors and regulators could use to establish his disregard for legal obligations. Neyo's public statements had been revealing troubling attitudes toward women for years before his private behavior became public knowledge. His comments provided a window into the mindset that drove his controversial relationships. In February 2022, Neyo appeared on a radio show where he blamed women for misogynistic content in hip-hop music.
It's gotten super misogynistic, which I don't understand. And mind you, I can only blame us men halfway for that, because as a woman, if a man sings the word bitch to you and you smile at him, he's probably going to do it again.
The victim-blaming logic revealed someone who couldn't understand basic power dynamics between music industry executives, recording artists, and consumers. His solution placed all responsibility on women while absolving male artists and industry decision-makers. Critics immediately called out the flawed reasoning, but Neyo doubled down on his position during subsequent interviews. He seemed genuinely puzzled by the backlash, suggesting a fundamental disconnect from how his words affected others. His comments about women's responsibility for their own mistreatment provided context for understanding his approach to romantic relationships. Someone who publicly blamed women for systemic was unlikely to treat his own partners as equals. The pattern extended to his social media presence, where Neyo frequently posted content that objectified women or reduced them to their physical attributes. His online persona reflected the same attitudes he expressed in interviews. Industry insiders began sharing stories about Neyo's behavior at recording sessions, parties, and other professional events. The accounts painted a picture of someone who treated women as interchangeable accessories rather than individual human beings. The combination of his public misogyny and private treatment of women created a consistent narrative. His words and actions aligned in ways that suggested genuine belief rather than simple mistakes or poor judgment. During interviews promoting his music, Neyo often made comments about women's roles in relationships that revealed antiquated thinking. He spoke about women needing to earn respect rather than deserving it automatically, and about the importance of women supporting their men regardless of circumstances. His lyrics also reflected these attitudes, with songs that portrayed women as either perfect angels or manipulative temptresses.
Baby, you're the best I ever had.
The binary thinking left no room for women to exist as complex human beings with their own agency and desires. Music industry professionals noted that Neyo's treatment of female collaborators had become increasingly problematic over the years. Female background singers, dancers, and other crew members reported feeling uncomfortable around him during recording sessions and video shoots. The misogynistic attitudes weren't limited to romantic relationships. Neyo's interactions with female journalists, radio hosts, and other media professionals showed the same pattern of condescension and objectification that characterized his personal life. His public statements about parenting also revealed concerning attitudes about gender roles. He spoke about raising his daughters differently from his sons, with different expectations and standards that reflected traditional gender stereotypes rather than individual capabilities and interests. By late 2025, Neyo's carefully constructed public image had completely disintegrated. The man who had once been seen as a gentleman and talented artist was now viewed as a cautionary tale about unchecked celebrity privilege and moral decay.
Contestant number 2.
The entertainment industry's response was to quietly phase Neyo out rather than continue supporting him through his troubles. Without the network of industry protection that had shielded him for years, he was facing the full consequences of his actions for the first time. His children were paying the highest price for his choices. They were dealing with public embarrassment, family instability, and the psychological damage of watching their father's public destruction. The trauma would likely affect their ability to form healthy relationships throughout their lives. The most damning aspect of Neyo's downfall was that it appeared to be entirely self-inflicted. Unlike celebrities who faced false accusations or circumstances beyond their control, his troubles stemmed directly from choices he continued to make despite their obvious negative consequences. Record label executives who had worked with Neyo for years were privately expressing relief that their contracts with him had expired. The artist who had once been considered a valuable asset had become a liability that no one wanted to handle. The pyramid girlfriends were beginning to show signs of strain as the negative publicity affected their own lives and opportunities. What had initially been presented as a happy arrangement was revealing itself to be unsustainable under public scrutiny. Neyo's legacy was being rewritten in real time. The romantic ballads and smooth vocals that had defined his career were being overshadowed by allegations of violence, federal crimes, and exploitative relationships. His discography remained, but the context had been permanently altered. The man who had built his career singing about love and relationships had revealed himself to be incapable of either. His reputation lay in ruins, his family relationships were destroyed, and his future in the entertainment industry looked increasingly bleak. Anyway, that's it for the video, folks. Bye.